What's up, YouTube? It's Brando. I'm back. I'm back at y'all, man. I'm out here on my walk. Y'all see me feeling good outside. I hope y'all doing the same wherever y'all at. Burning some calories, feeling good, you know. It's just having great energy. That's what it's all about. Enjoy life to the fullest. I'm back with another topic today. I feel it's very important. It's something I don't really get a chance to address with the general public, but I speak on it a lot with my mom, family, my father, a lot of people. But it's really important in today's society. Don't confine yourself, and definitely don't be constricted to one environment. You know, a lot of us come from a lot of things or a lot of places that we may consider the struggle or the ghetto or the hood, and that's sometimes what we identify ourselves with, and then we stay constricted to that. And that's very important in life. When you're trying to grow and expand, you always got to see something bigger and better. And I know that can be hard for a lot of people, but you always got to understand that it's a big world out here and there's so much more to see. You know, don't confine yourself or identify yourself with one block and one hood, because when you do that, you basically gonna strip yourself of so many opportunities that life has to offer. You know, we got a world out here that has so many different countries, cities, states, continents, and you know, you don't want to identify with one place. You know, no matter where you come from, what type of life you live, you know, what you went through, where you was born, no matter what it was. Because I didn't come from the best, but I made do, and just like my family, we made do what we had. I ain't gonna say I had it worse than others, and you know, I don't compare my situation to nobody, but you know, I come from Chicago, and this a tough city. You got to be a soldier to survive here, and I'm still surviving. But I just see so much more. And when I would say one part that opened my mind up so much, especially as far as seeing new places, when I started to travel, and that was in 2021. You know, I went to Miami. I went to Vegas, in 2021. And I went to Miami 2022. I went to Nashville. You know, I've been to a few different cities, and I can say one thing about it is, it's unfortunate and it's sad, but every time I go somewhere else, I never want to leave. I always feel more at home and more at peace there. And I know some things happen everywhere, because, you know, we got the spotlight in our city for the wrong thing. That's something I don't really agree with. I understand, but I think the media and the music play a part of that a lot. The artists that's been signed and blew up from here. But we got so much more to offer in this city, and we do need to do a lot of work. I can't say that. It is violent. It's a place that I'm tired of. I don't want to build my future foundation here. When it comes to business, all the things that God has blessed me with, my creative aspects, my children are not going to be in this city. I pray that they don't, you know. But if they do, I'm making a way every day to make sure that they have a better outlet than I had, and different resources than I had to grow up in, especially in the environment. But I can't say that the cities that I've been to, they just seem more at peace. They just seem more peaceful to me, and I felt more at home. And I just never want to leave, like I said. And the reason being is because I was there to shop, spend money. It was kind of like rehabilitation in a way, now that I really think about it, because I was always going there to leave and get away from here, right? But at the same time, I was exploring and meeting new people, and I wouldn't say making relationships, but at the same time, I was, you know, seeing the city for what it was, because I didn't know a lot. I didn't really know much about these places besides what I seen on social media. And you know, everybody got a struggle. Every city got its own downfalls and hurdles and things like that in certain areas. But you know, you don't never want to limit yourself to one mindset and one environment, because that's gonna really derail you in life, especially if you somebody like me that's trying to grow, evolve, expand, excel, and you know, you want to eventually I would say, if you want to eventually just go bigger and better. If you want that out of life, you have to adjust your mentality and your mindset, and you also have to adjust your crowd. So if you got people around you that's thinking like that, and you're not on the same type of time, you got to get away from them, because they're gonna derail you. They're gonna set you back. And when they see you grow and evolve, they're not gonna like that, because you know, they're stagnant. A lot of them is lazy. They only know one thing, one area, one place. And when they see you going further, when they see you traveling and living life, doing what you gotta do, making different type of money, meeting new people, building relationships, you know, got your business together, whatever you're doing in life, and excelling, like I said, that's what it's all about. They're not gonna want that. So the hate and the envy and jealousy is gonna spread rapidly, and you can feel it if you got that discernment. I really encourage y'all to really pray and have that as well, because it's powerful. So you don't never want to stay constricted to one place and one mentality, because that's really not what life is about. And too many times I see a lot of people that's like that. I know people like that in family and just outside of family. I've met a lot of people like that. And unfortunately, they don't live life and go far. And it's unfortunate, it's sad, because life is so short. We see it come and go every day with a lot of people that we know, and even who don't know. I'm sorry. We just see life come and go so quick. I know I have at a young age. I know hundreds of people that's not here no more for different reasons, and I'm assuming I should know. I do know a lot of them that they didn't even live to see that purpose for different reasons. Because we all got a purpose here. I truly believe that. Do people know what that purpose is? Everybody don't know that. A lot of people don't know how to identify with that, should I say. And that's why we have to ask the Creator that made us, what is that? Pray to Him and get a better relationship, because God revealed that to me when I was in one of my darkest times in college, and I'm still going after that. So many purposes at that, so it's not just one. I don't want to reveal too much, because a lot of people, they don't want to see that happen. So you never know who's watching, So I ain't gonna speak too early against everything, because that could spoil the plan. That's some free game for y'all too. If you don't, for those who don't know that. But yeah, man, you gotta always be willing to grow. And that could be even what you eat. Because you are what you eat. That go to your mind. That could also direct how you think. So that could be what you eat, what you wear. Where you shop, how you spend your money, saving, whatever it is you got to do to grow and expand. If you trying to do that and that's what your goal is, you should be willing to do that at all costs, because that never hurts. I've never seen nobody that's willing to, go into a bigger aspect of life, and especially in the aspect where it's going to help them and grow and expand their mindset and health, physically, financially, spiritually. I never seen that, go take them into a darker place in life or hurt them. So if you on that type of time, if that's where you want to go, if that's what you want to do, you should be willing to adjust at all costs, because sometimes we got to do that, and sometimes we actually get in certain seasons where we adjust in life, and we got to figure out what's the next plan, and we got to sit at the round table with ourselves and we isolate it. That's really where I'm at, and that's really where I'm at with it. It ain't always meant for us to walk in crowds and be with big circles, because you got to find your own identity, and I'm so blessed I always had that. I've always had that. I never really needed the crowd, So I also encourage y'all that feel like you need a lot of people, or feel like you need a crowd of validation, to step out of that, because you don't want to be that type of person, because you all you got to do at the end of the day, because you come in this world with you as you're by yourself and you leave by yourself. So at the end of the day, you got to get comfortable being alone, whether you want to or not. Life don't consist of being with a lot of people 100% of the time. And I'm not saying it's not okay to make friends or partnerships or build relationships and, be I would say a friendly person or even family oriented. I'm not saying that, but at some point in time, it's got to be you and just God Himself. You got to separate yourself from the crowd. And me, I'm the person, I don't mind being alone. If y'all ever notice it, especially if you know me personally, you know that. But for y'all that don't know me, if you see me doing my walks, I'm never walking with nobody. And it's not because I don't have friends. I don't have a lot of friends, but I don't really deal with a lot of people because of that energy. I'm an energy reader, so that's just me. I go off of energy. I go off of mentality, your mindset. We just gotta have a lot in common, So I don't waste time with people. Life is too short to waste time. And I'm in this season where it's like, it's all about growth for me. It's all about expanding. It's all about just seeing a new horizon, because I just got so much more to do, and my calling is so higher. I don't have the type of time to waste with nobody, or even on my own. So, I know the work I got to do with myself. It's not easy, but I do understand the assignment and the calling. Since I understand it, going against it is being disobedient, right? But yeah, man. So no matter what your age is, I'm not gonna put an age limit on this message, because I wouldn't say that. But I just want to say once again, Do not confine yourself to one environment. Do not say, okay, I came from this area. I'm from this block. I'm from this city. You know, this is my neighborhood, and I'm just going to stay here until I go, or until my time is up, because you really cheating yourself out of life. It's so precious, you know, so what you should be trying to do is make the best of it and build, expand, you know. That's what it's all about. It's not about where you from, it's where you end up. You know, I always say that a lot, and that's very true. You know, I was taught that, so that's why I can really practice that and really live by that code and that message, because this the reality of me. So I always wanted more. You know, I was always that type of person for those who don't know me. And it's people that know me that don't even know that, honestly. So, because I'm not as vocal, honestly, but, and I don't even need to speak as much, because my actions and my character speak for me. So I don't have to really say much and talk a lot. You know, I'm more observant than anything, honestly. But, you know, growing up where I grew up and around a certain people, the environment, I was never really like them. I never did what they did. So while I grew up around the gangsters and killers and robbers and, you know, all of that type of stuff, the chiefs and whatever it may be, the people that was in the streets, or even if they wasn't, I just wanted more. It could be people that was working 9 to 5, and I don't got nothing against that, because I'm in the process of that. I don't even have employment right now, to be honest, but I've worked many jobs, and I noticed one thing about jobs: they ain't for me. You know, not that I don't want to work, because I don't mind. I get up every day when I can, when I'm at jobs, and when I have employment, I work. I'm on time. I do my job. But one thing I notice is that it's always a dark energy. The spirits is bad there. The people, they don't like me. It's always hate, false accusations and conspiracies and lies and things that nobody can prove, right? And I see that that's not by default. That's not by a coincidence. There are no coincidences in life, right? So when you got that light shined upon you, you just always set apart. And I noticed that at a young age, you know. Rest in peace to my great grandmother Maggie. She always told me that. She always said you're gonna be a star. And at the time, I didn't really know what she meant. But I see now. So, you know, I just was always set apart. I never wanted to be like nobody but me. And that's what you should be trying to do too. Because, you know, separation equals elevation. When you set apart, you're gonna do something big. You're gonna go major. You're gonna automatically step into your calling without even trying sometimes. Of course, it does take effort. I'm not saying don't try nothing. But trying to fit in and trying to be like the rest don't get you nothing but the same results. And it usually ain't good, right? Especially when you stepping into something that's a negative atmosphere. So repeating the same cycle and doing what looks good for validation, or what makes money, fast money, women, trying to get a car, selling drugs, whatever it might be, or if it ain't even that, it might be a job. You know, you might feel like that's the only way out, or that's the only way to make money, which is not true, especially in this age we got, because we got the social media, the digital era. So it's more opportunities for us, especially young people, that our parents and grandparents didn't have, you know. And like I said, once again, this ain't no knock to nobody with no job. You know, get your money, you know, hustle and make a way out, you know. That's what if I was to tell myself this, if I was to tell myself something when I was 16, 17, 18, looking for these hundreds and thousands of jobs, you know, my plan would be that. And it always has been, but I noticed, like I said, once again, I never could do it because of the people. It wasn't because of me, you know, and I'm a man of accountability, if nothing else. So I can admit my flaws and my wrongdoings, and that's another thing, but that's a separate topic. But, you know, just understand your purpose and do you, you know. But like I said, you just got to know that what's meant for you is going to come, but it does take action, and you got to separate yourself. You got to be comfortable with that, because I see it in this generation, a lot of people, you know, they want to hang in cliques, they want validity in the wrong way, and they go to the internet for the wrong reason. You know, it's a powerful thing. You can build wealth off of it. You know, you can, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting attention, but I feel like seeking attention is not good, especially if you define yourself in that. You know, that's not me, you know. And people know me. You know, a lot of people know me. I've always been like that. But I never wanted them to say, hey, that's him, or he known for this, or he wear that, or that's the guy right there. That's what's the name son. Like, I just never cared about it. So that just go to show right there, the impact I had always was major amongst people. They noticed me, they recognized me. It could be due to, like I said, the affiliation with the people that I know and who I'm related to, or whatever, and some of them it is not. But you know, but at the end of the day, you gotta ask yourself, what am I here for? And what am I trying to do? What am I building? So when you ain't building nothing, then you know, you ain't got no choice but to fall. But when you trying to build something bigger and better than what you came from, the only way is up, and that's all you can see, right? But don't limit yourself. I gotta keep reiterating this because there's so many people that need to hear this message and they just don't understand how powerful that is. Do not limit yourself. Don't tell yourself that this is it, or okay, this is all I know, because that's more like I said once again, that's more like, you know, you giving up already, especially if you're young. Even if you're an older person that's older than me, because I'm 27, but 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, a teenager, whatever, however old you may be, no matter what age range you're in, don't limit yourself. You know, don't say that, hey, I did all I can do, I can't learn nothing, I don't want to meet no more new people, I don't want to travel, this is all I know, this is where I'm from. This is what life is. That's all I got to offer, because a lot of people feel so hopeless, and that's unfortunate because that's not how life is supposed to be. And I know it's tough. You know, it could be tough. It's tough for me. I'm not perfect, and I never wanted to be, because with the test come a testimony. You know, it's not what you go through, it's what you grow through. So you got to see that and understand that, and know that with your story, it comes with a struggle, you know. But the struggle gonna make you, so it's not all about that, you know. It is about it. I'm not saying it's not about it, but that don't define you, you know. If you can overcome, if you can build, if you can see the bright side of what you're going through at the moment, or where you from, or whatever it may be, and realize, okay, I'm gonna make it up out of this. I got faith. You know, my today ain't my tomorrow. Then your mindset is already pushing towards progress. So only thing that can stop you is really you at that point. So that's what I push on everybody, man. I push that on everybody, especially, you know, my people, or even the youth, you know, young people, like I said, because that's who I put my arms around. That's who I pour knowledge and wisdom into, because a lot of the young people, they don't got that. The youngest, they coming up, they so easily influenced by the negativity more than anything. They need somebody like me. And I do what I can when I can. Like I said, I'm a listening ear, but I'm always gonna spread knowledge as well when I can. And I don't know it all, so that's why I'm a listening ear. And I got, you know, nothing but wisdom and knowledge to spread, but my mind is never closed. And neither are my ears, you know. And we got two ears and one mouth for a reason, you know. I'm always looking and listening. So the power of observation and, you know, listening is very real, because that go hand in hand. If you can't learn, you can't listen. And that's all a part of growth. You know what I mean? But so that's the message for this, man, is don't restrict yourself. You know, don't restrict yourself. You know, do not define your identity based on where you come from, especially if it's a negative circumstance, a negative environment, poverty, violence, a lack of money, or whatever it may be, resources. Don't go off of that, because, you know, some of the greatest people that have the biggest testimonies or the most successful people come from the worst stories. And, you know, a lot of people question, like, how did you do that? So, and that's not to compare yourself with them, but I'm just giving them an example. And not saying nobody that's rich can't do it. You know, they have advantages, of course. you know, they may know things and have an education that others don't have, or the money to start up plans and businesses that, you know, less fortunate people can't do. And I'm not saying that's not true, because it is, but when you come from less and when you don't have as much, you tend to, if you really are like this and humble, you tend to be more humble and appreciative of what you do have. So, you know, just stay true to yourself and stay authentic, man. But it's kind of sunny out here. I don't know if y'all can see the sun in a way, but so that's the message I'm gonna leave y'all with, man. Y'all be cool. I'm on my walk out here. I'm gonna try to get maybe 8K in. I mean, maybe 8 miles in. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go for maybe 20K, but y'all be smooth, man. Y'all be blessed. Peace and love.